Find Me a Community in Israel course. Welcome. We started doing the series just as Corona hit. We saw a need in the community and in people trying to make Aliyah who were unable to make pilot trips. And as Corona hit, people were unable to come to Israel. So we started bringing Israel to them. And we started this series called Find Me a Community in Israel. And we had, thank God, a lot of success in helping people identify their communities from afar. And we had a lot of people actually move during Corona to some of the communities that we actually showcased on our series. We have covered over 40 communities in Israel. And the demand, what's happened now is I think a lot of people are kind of fed up with Zoom. So it's harder to get people to commit to coming onto a call, but we have a lot of people that do call us to ask for advice about where they should go and live in Israel. So we don't call ourselves real estate agents. We call ourselves community and property matchmakers, because we really do understand the different areas in Israel and where people will fit in, depending on their criteria, if they're coming as a single, if they're coming with a family, the different hashkafa religiously where they're holding. And we do kind of have a real good understanding of the lay of the land in Israel. So please, if this community is not for you, but you are looking to come to Israel, if you're not already here or you are already, and you want to have a private consultation with myself and my right-hand lady, Devorah, who's on the call. Devorah is in charge of our community and property development, and she researches new areas for people. We have a lot of amazing opportunities going on right now in the real estate world in Israel. And there are lots of incredible communities that many people just don't know about. And that's why we are showcasing this incredible community, because I had a lot of people reach out to me. I think, Jordan, you were actually in touch with me about, how long ago is it? About 2 years ago already? A while ago, right? In our very early days. Unmute yourself. Hold on to me. I'll say, hold on 1 second.
Sorry.
There he is. Okay.
I don't remember exactly. It was early days, but yeah, I think it was during the whole Corona lockdown thing.
So what I'm going to ask people to, we have a few people on the call who are going to talk about this incredible community. And then there's going to be an open question and answer session at the end. And I'd like to invite Jordan, who actually helped spearhead tonight's call and has been very active in trying to encourage more Anglos to join him and the other Anglo families in Kfar Vradim. So why don't you start off and tell us who you are, where you're from, and why you chose to live in this community.
Okay. I actually put together like a 5-minute fast fact thing about the area. And I thought that just kind of reading it, and then of course I could put a transcript of it up, but I think that'll cover the basics so that when we get to the featured speakers who talk about their different areas, that would be really helpful, especially on the playback, if people want to play back slower. I'm going to talk very fast. I know people can slow it down on YouTube and play it at their own speed. And like I said, I'll put a transcript in the chat so everybody has a chance. But very quickly, we're Jordan and Rebecca Ness. We have 4 children aged 22 to 1.5. And my son just got married, actually. So
wow.
Mazal Tov. But we came from Woodmere, 5 Towns area, and we have a bunch of people from the 5 Towns who are looking at this area. Kind of reminds me of 30 years ago, the 5 Towns was in New York was 10% from and 90% not even, it was Jewish, but not very affiliated. And then over, well, actually it's longer, maybe 40 years ago. But today it's become a very active Jewish place, and Kfar Vradim already is a very active Jewish place. But I think with a very strong influx of Anglos, Olim, and Israelis who are priced out of the center of the country, who can get the same amenities in the north, It's going to be a very, very exciting place over the next 20 years. So, like I said, I'm going to talk fast. Feel free at the end, questions, slow me down, but we're going to go into more detail and drill down. So don't worry about taking notes. Again, I'll put up a transcript in the chat. So without further ado, tonight's mess, and I'm just reading what I wrote. Tonight's message is Aliyah to settle in the Western Galilee region in Israel as your new adopted country will be challenging for American and Anglo Olim, to say the least. However, we promise you that living here can be, as they say, living your best life. It certainly is for us. Never before has a committee of people come together in Kfar Vradim, Maalot, and surrounding to be the Anglo support group for every Jew who wants an affordable, beautiful, and loving community and home to help their dreams meet their reality. So with that, a little background. Kfar Vradim is a 30-plus-year-old Jewish village in the Western Galilee, built into the beautiful green fertile mountains of Shevet Asher that was given to the Jewish people when they entered the land over 2,000 years ago. Major cities nearby are Akko, Carmiel, and Nahariya. Each have 50,000 plus population. The strategic importance of the Western Galilee to Israel is endless today. It is the breadbasket of Israel and averages the top rainfall, agricultural yields. It feeds the country with the best beer, wine, meats, cheeses, breads, and produce. A foodie paradise, the Western Galilee, which is the area that surrounds us, also functions as Israel's northern border with Lebanon and the ocean's bounty of the Mediterranean Sea to the west. It's a major tourist hub all spring and summer long, as a vast playground for Israelis to stay, recharge, and enjoy during the summer. You can't picture the super clean, crisp air, green pastures, and beautiful views all over the village unless you come see it for yourself. Unique and advantageous because of its village status rather than a moshav, the village has a total population of 6,000 plus people. KV, as it's known, Kfar Vradim is KV, itself is located in an extremely central location for the area, about 20 minutes from the beach to the west and 30 minutes from the entrance to the beautiful mountain areas of Meron and further east into the holy city of Tzfat. To the northwest, we have the beach resorts of Achziv, Betzet, and Rosh Hanikra, and about 25 minutes south of us is the entrance to Carmiel, which is the gate to Haifa Bay further south. There's an unlimited amount of kosher cafes, patisseries, bistros, and restaurants to visit for world-class meals, and a launch point for tiyulim all over the area, all beautiful, safe, and welcoming. It's a green paradise with waterfalls, trails, endless wildflowers, and breathtaking castles, kfarim, and ruins to visit nearby. Yes, you can see snowy Mount Hermon on a clear day from town. We have a large population of Christians and Druzim and villages ringing our whole area, which offers an added layer of security and safety. Baruch Hashem, there's not been a terrorist attack, Bli Ayin Hara, here in 40 years. In addition, the village offers 24-hour mobile security watch by vehicles that patrol the area. Without a doubt, what makes Kfar Vradim special and unique are the people who make the community, and of course, the Rav and Rebbetzin, the Rav is on the call tonight. Perched at over 2,000 feet above sea level is Shlav Aleph, where most of the Jews gather near the shul. And it's an amazing group of people who are committed to welcoming Olim, who fall in love with the area and want to fill up the land. As you'll hear tonight, people are here to help you thrive and settle in this beautiful place. Our own experience was of an English-speaking rabbi, rebbetzin, and neighbors who helped us finding a house, schooling, shul friends, along with local doctors, lawyers, attorneys, local food, shopping, and everything an American immigrant family could ask for. We were able to get our stuff moved and settled into our new house with a lot of ease, and this community made it possible. A quick word on medicine. KV has excellent private and system doctors, both in the Kfar itself and next door in Maalot. There are also an excellent systems and private specialists a few minutes away in Carmiel and Nahariya, as well as hospitals in Nahariya, Tzfat, and of course Haifa. Our shul has about 150 active members. Shabbat evening services are usually 40 to 50 men, and it's a full range from modern to Hasidish in terms of hashkafa. Services are a mix of Ashkenazi and Sephardic tefillot. The whole kehillah is best described, I would say, as a mix. There's a hot kiddush every week and usually a simcha bar mitzvah in the shul. Most members hang out afterward to sit, drink coffee and tea, and eat goodies and make l'chaim together. All kinds of major Lebedik and exciting shul events, for example, Simchas Torah, Hanukkah lightings all over town, barbecues, Purim Suda, matzah baking, and other fun events throughout the year. The shul administration makes these events awesome. My favorite so far is the Simchas Torah Carnival for kids and adults the following day, especially the unlimited popcorn machine. Religious amenities include women's mikveh in town, Kalim mikveh. Men's mikveh choices are abundant, only 5 minutes away in Maalot. Men's learning on Monday nights, women's learning on Tuesdays, Shabbat day shir for men and women. Kids Shabbat groups are every week. The village of KV is a fully developed, mature village with lovely shopping center, in walking distance, community concerts, arts center, and other events. Country clubs, swimming pools, outdoor and indoor, tennis, soccer, cultural events, community center, playgrounds, horse and hiking trails. In Shlab Aleph, where we live, there are always rentals and homes for purchase available. 5 to 10 minutes next door is Maalot, a town with 25,000 plus people, and with a beautiful religious community and a famous Hesder yeshiva. KV is thus served with excellent schooling, shopping, and other added amenities right next door in Maalot and Moshav Meoneh. And these communities are very close in terms of friendships. A shout out to the Aliyah Network based in Maalot for being an awesome sister resource of great, kind, and caring people to talk to, who are also great Balei Chesed. Also, I can't help but mention the Rav and Rebbetzin and Kfar Vradim. They are, in our opinion, the crown jewel and cherry on top as a reward for living in this area, as well as our KV neighbors who are, as they say, Ein Kmocha. The key is to spend time here and see if it's for you. Feel free to reach out to arrange a visit. The best time to experience the warmth here is usually Shabbat, when people slow down and enjoy each other's company. We will help you find a place to stay with a host family near Shul and find you hot meals with the community so you can experience everything that KV has to offer. A warm, hearty welcome, and looking forward to spending more time with all of you. And Kim, I don't know if
I want to clap. That's what I want to do. It was so fantastic. That's all I just want to clap. It was so great. That was amazing, Jordan. Wow. Okay. So I have never been, and I'd love to visit you guys. I'm not moving out the old city, but I'd love to come and say hello.
You're welcome anytime.
Anyway, that was beautiful. It sounds really, really gorgeous. I had heard a lot about it from Marcy from Aliyah Network. And, we had showcased a call about Maalot as well. And we actually had sold some properties down there, and people did move down to the community from our call, which was amazing. So without further ado, I want to hear from the Rav of the community, Rav Shlomo. Thank you so much for coming on the call. Unmute yourself.
So good evening, everybody. Thanks for inviting us to this amazing meeting. The real truth is, after what Jordan said, there's not much more to say. He said it all. I'll just give a little bit of a perspective. I'll say my personal story. I have the great zchus, the merit of living in Kfar Vradim with my wife and 5 children for the past 19 years. In this period of time, the general community grew. I'm saying general Kfar Vradim and the religious community particularly. There's everything that you really need in order to live it up your way, your speed, your pace, your style, your melodies. As Jordan was saying before, you come to shul. I've been around. I've never met, I'm saying this objectively, yeah? I've never met such a shul that is very, very welcoming, and second of all, that really gives us space and a part for every single person to feel at home. If it's the melodies, if it's the type of food that's served, if it's just the welcoming, the different languages. We've got people in our shul that speak Hebrew, English, Yiddish, French, Russian, Spanish, and a few more. And as Jordan was mentioning, Monday night we have this communal learning, and you could hear every possible language, every possible topic that's learned together with the boys from the Hezi Yeshiva in Maalot. Mentioning Maalot is right nearby. A lot of the education system is in Maalot, even though there's a great educational system in Kfar Vradim, but people that want more of a observant of a religious type of education can get in Maalot, and really every single type of every single type of education. That means there's Dati Leumi, they have a Cheder, a Talmud Torah, they have Breslev, they have Sfardim, they have Litvish. They really have any type of educational institute that you feel comfortable with. And it's between 5 and 7 minute car ride, which is really, really not far. That's in terms of Maalot, in terms of education. It's considered, and I just heard this week a very good line about Maalot / Kfar Vradim. It's one of the most secrets of Israel, knowing that there's such a unbelievable service in terms of not just real estate, but also communal life and educational life. I think what makes Kfar Vradim very, very special, I'm talking about our community, the shul. We have one shul during the week. On Shabbat, we split into two just because of the distances. I think what's very, very special is the fact that because we are small and in a way very, very unique, people feel very, very needed, and they really feel that there's a meaning of them participating in shul. I don't just mean just a meaning, the spiritual meaning of coming and playing an active role. It's just the fact, just being there. Like a week that somebody is not there, people ask, where were you? I really feel for people, and so much more for our children, being needed and feeling that you're an active participant in the community. That my kids get up on a Shabbat morning 7:30 because they're excited to help set up the Kiddush. There's a communal Kiddush every single Shabbos. And as Jordan was saying before, a sit-down Kiddush, people sit and schmooze and talk. And the kids are not just sitting there on the side, they play a real active role. I think the best way of educating kids is making them feel wanted, loved, and needed. And the kids growing up in Kfar Vradim grow up very, very excited and very, very happy about being part of this thing, part of the community, in the official way, the unofficial way. Same exact things when it comes to holidays, when it comes to celebrating. If it's on Purim, we have a whole Purim carnival, and the kids are part of it. The kids are the ones setting it up. They're the ones organizing it, and they really feel they feel that they play a very, very active role in the community. And I think that's very, very important. There's a real need that people have, not just walking into shul and being number 300 in sitting there, but actually being part of it. That's in terms of education. Another very special thing I think in Kfar Vradim is, besides the very strong religious community, there's a general community that's also very, very giving and loving. A very, very high level of people volunteering, and that's also part of it. In other words, even though we have our circle, that's around the shul and around the Torah classes, but there's another whole circle of people that are around that really play an active role in volunteering and caring, in taking care of a lot of things. Just for an example, there's a cemetery in Kfar Vradim. The whole entire cemetery is run by volunteers, which is it's an outstanding thing. The fact is that a lot of the local events, if it's Independence Day, if it's Memorial Day, are held by the volunteers, just by the people themselves of Kfar Vradim. And that makes a very, very special feeling, a very great feeling of abundance, of connection, of loving, caring, helping each other. So as was said before, if anybody wants to come be part of this very, very exciting event of this great community, this very active community, so you're more than welcome to reach out, to come visit on a Shabbos, on a regular weekday. And if you really want to be part of our community and us, you're more than welcome. So, Bruchim Habayim and welcome.
Thank you so much. Are we going to cover, and maybe at the end we can talk about schooling? And
as I was saying before, there's everything that's needed. The actual educational system in Kfar Vradim is considered a very, very good system, yet it's not very religious. It's very Zionist and Israeli. They even come to visit shul a few times a year. But if somebody wants like official religious schooling, it's in Maalot, which is between, as I was saying, between 5 and 7 minute car rides, like less than 10 minutes away. And there's everything you need. There's elementary school, there's high school, there's a yeshiva high school for boys, an amazing religious high school for girls. Even in the elementary school, there's elementary school that's Dati Leumi. There's Dati Leumi, I don't know what they call extra. That's separate classes, boys and girls. They have Breslev. They have Svardim. They have I know Litvish. It's really a very, very wide variety of schools that exists. There's a van that goes out every single day. Some parents prefer driving, but I really believe, even though it's the nearby town, I believe in a big city, kids or parents drive their kids more than 10 minutes, even in the same city. So yes, it is the nearby town, but it's a very, very short ride. And it's, in fact, it's not just even a ride, but I know, let's say some kids in Kfar Vradim from our community are active in Bnei Akiva in Maalot, and they walk on a Shabbat afternoon. It's a half an hour walk.
Take
40-minute
walk, half an hour? Okay, half an hour.
Yeah, probably about half an hour, 40 minutes, depends how far in Maalot. But the local moel is from Maalot, and he once in a while will come over on a Shabbat morning and a walk if he has a bris. In other words, it's walkable. In fact, there's an Eruv even around the whole Maalot and Kfar Vradim together. You can even carry your bottle of water. There's a very, very good Eruv in Kfar Vradim, very good Eruv in Maalot. We share an Eruv. In fact, just another example, the Eruv of Kfar Vradim is checked and kept up by local volunteers from the community. There's a WhatsApp group that goes around. Everybody has their part that they check, and they fix it together. It's like just another communal event, putting together the Eruv every single Friday. So yeah, as I said, it's a walk, probably a half an hour walk, a 40-minute walk, but it's walkable. People are able to do it. People are able to walk. It's not like very far. It's not down the block, but it's for sure doable. So that's usually if people are seeking for religious educational institute, that's usually going to be the solution.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, next up is we have Tammy and Toby. I think, am I right that you just moved from Yerushalayim?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's up.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
You're up.
I moved from I was living in Yerushalayim for 12 years. I made Aliyah. I lived in Yerushalayim basically since I made Aliyah when
Where
I was
are you
20.
from?
Baltimore.
Okay.
I'm from Baltimore. My husband, we both kind of from Baltimore, but he was born in Oregon.
West Coast. Yeah, I've been in Israel for 24 years now.
Okay.
So quite a long time. Also living mostly in Jerusalem, in the Jerusalem area. And
yeah, we just moved like right in the time of the high holidays.
Wow, so it's very recent that you moved.
Yeah, so we're really new. We kind of just landed, so we weren't. We should have been responsible adults and really researched where we were going before we headed there. But we're like, okay, we're kind of done with Jerusalem, especially after Corona. And I love Jerusalem. It's not that I don't, but at a sort of like feeling cooped up for around 2 years, you kind of feel done. And so we wanted to go and see and be near family. We had family that moved to Maalot several years ago. But we were looking for something in the area that would be very out in nature, very beautiful, and something that feels with a lot of space, like a little bit of America that kind of we like left, which kind of has this, spacious feel of, yards in the front yard and backyards and things like you're like, okay, I left America, but what am I realistically expecting to have a bit of that here? So we basically were looking around and we found a place on Yad Shtaim and we're like, okay, let's go check it out. Let's see if it's nice. And then we kind of were like, okay, this looks nice. Let's try it out. And we kind of landed it, and we didn't expect that it came with this entire beautiful kehila. It came with a lot of really warm, welcoming people. And it was a complete it really took us aback because we weren't expecting it to, like, we really landed in somewhere really beautiful. And my parents, who are in their 70s, just made Aliyah. And
wow, amazing.
yeah,
Mazel tov.
yeah, they just made Aliyah. They moved into my our house just for a little bit to, get on their feet. And then they decided, I have 3 sisters in Modi'in and just me here. And but just from being in Kfar Vradim for just like a month, they decided, okay, we're moving here. And so they're 5 minutes away now down the road.
Amazing.
And so my little girl, she's 4, she can go through the forest to her grandmother's house, like Little Red Riding Hood, kind of like just go down the path and then she's there. And so we kind of, really, I cannot describe, the landing could not have been softer because, I made one big transition when I made Aliyah, and then, it seems funny, but moving out of Yerushalayim and the center, it's a whole nother transition, but the people have been so kind and so nice, and it's just been a really lovely surprise. There's chugim here for the kids, which is really nice that, my kid, she's in a ballet. There's a mischakia where all the kids play together. There's even a little library that's really beautiful. Right, it has an English speaking section, which is really sweet. I try to take my kid every other week there. And there's just in general an absolutely breathtaking, there's just nature everywhere. You can fall out of bed and go hiking, and we are right next to the forest. And it was actually really funny. We didn't, in Yerushalayim, we always were borrowing someone's sukkah, but this was our first year where we could build our own sukkah, and we built our own sukkah. And we woke up one morning and there was a wild boar. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
This is selling it or not, but there was a wild boar outside our sukkah. And we were like, we're really in the forest now, but it was really special. And in any case, I just can't emphasize enough. I was really surprised, and it's also close to Maalot, so we can walk to our families over Shabbat, which is really nice. So if we decide, to surprise them for Shabbat or to plan ahead to visit for lunch, we can make our way with the 2 kids over. Sorry.
And I think even though it is quite far up north, it's actually quite central. I commute down to Tel Aviv twice a week, and it's completely by bus and train, and it takes me around 2 hours to get to central Tel Aviv, which is, by American standards, not very long for a commute. And yeah, it's just really convenient. The infrastructure is great, and
there's the train line. The train line goes straight from Modi'in to Nahariya.
And then Sheva as well.
Right. So
how far are you from Nahariya? About 20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
You hop on a bus in Kfar Vradim, you're in Nahariya in 20 minutes. If you drive, it's slightly less.
Yeah.
And is there regular public transport from Kfar Vradim to Nahariya?
Yes. So there was
fairly regular. It depends on what you're used to. Jerusalem, obviously, there's more. Right. There's a bus like every 40 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not terrible. That's good. Okay.
Yeah. And then the trains are fantastic. They're every 20 minutes, half hour. So if you miss one, you just grab the next. It's really easy, really convenient.
Right. And since it's a first stop, it's really just, you go in and you can sit on the train, and then it takes you all the way to Modi'in. And it's very nice since I have all my family there. So
that's all the beautiful views, Haifa, the beach, and
that's the other thing. You're 20 minutes from the beach, the Nahariya beach, which is really, really nice. And it's a very kid-friendly beach because there's a tide pool, so that you can let your kids kind of play, and you don't have to worry about them being swept out into the water. And it's a very kid-friendly beach.
I play in that tide pool because I'm not a very good swimmer.
It's a rodent-friendly beach as well.
I think it's one of the most beautiful beaches in Israel. It's untouched. It's gorgeous white sand. It's such a gorgeous area.
It is. It's really beautiful. So all around, I just could not. I couldn't have planned it better. Basically, we couldn't have planned it better. Yeah.
And I think there's something for everyone. The community is very eclectic, all sorts of different people, and they really come together and form this really cohesive community.
Amazing. Well, I'm so glad that you guys found it, because just from, my world and what I'm doing now, there are so many people struggling to find their place. So I feel like this is just, as I said before, a real little, gem of a community that is really not many people know about. So thank you so much, and I give you a blessing that it should continue to be successful for you and your family. And thank you so much for coming on. And next up, Shayna. Hey.
Hey, Cami, Jordan. Hi, Saul. Hi, everybody. I'm Shayna TB. Thanks. Oh, and hi, Devorah. I'm happy that I'm here to tell you all about Kfar Vradim. I absolutely love it here. I love that it has like a suburban feel. And I very much appreciate that for this stage in my life. So my husband's Israeli. I'm American, Jewish, and we have 3 kids. Our kids were born here. We have an 11-year-old son and twin 9-year-old girls. So I made Aliyah twice. I'll tell you briefly. When I first made Aliyah with my husband in 2010, he was a Toshav Choser, which is a returning citizen. And we went straight to his little town. Now, his little town is about 12 minutes away from Kfar Vradim. So when I first made Aliyah, I lived in the teeniest moshav in probably the country, like no one knows what it is, Lapidot. I don't know, Kim, if you've heard of it, it's teeny weeny. So, right. And so then, like I said, kids were born there. When my son was 3, my girls were 1, we ended up going back to the US for a few years, but we would always come back every summer and stayed very connected. And then when we came back a year and a half ago, I told my husband, I'm like, we have to go to Kfar Vradim. Like, I can't I love Lapidot, but there's no expansion. There's nothing there. So it's literally the forest. So I said, we have to move to Kfar Vradim. So we did. And I've been so happy here. Yes, it's gorgeous. My kids, I probably have a little bit of a different story than maybe some other people. My kids are bilingual anyway. I always speak to them in English. My husband spoke to them in Hebrew. So the transition was, pretty gentle for them. However, with the school system, so my kids do go to Keshet. It's a 5-minute walk from our house. We go to the, regular school, and it's a 5-minute walk. And like the rabbi said, it is definitely, Israeli, Zionist. They do visit the Beit Knesset a few times a year, and I really appreciate that. It's been a very beautiful school for them to start going to. They do have, in terms of services, they also do have what's called the Sha'a Olim, like the Olim hour, and they also have the Dovrei Anglit, like the native English speakers, classes as well. So they do get help wherever they need it, whether they need the little higher level or a little support. So they have that. My kids jumped right in. They do soccer. My girls are in the Laka, which is the choir. They're in the town's choir. So when you come to the Yom HaAtzmaut celebration, any of the organized celebrations, they're there singing and they're loving it and they're really proud of it. So that's very fun to watch. And what else can I say about this town? There's great cafes and small grocery stores, and it is really eclectic, and I do love that. I do love that element that it is, there's like a little bit of everyone, and it's kind of like live and let live, and everybody seems to really get along, and it's a really nice community. And what else can I say? There's a lot of nature. We have this house that, like, the backyard is a forest. It is a forest. So similar to what Tammy said. She wanted to, have some space after, the whole lockdowns and whatnot. And we had a similar feeling. We're like, well, who knows what's going to happen in the world? We'd love to have a forest. So, so we have that. Happy to answer any of your questions. I love being here. I love the feel that I can open the door. My kids can literally go outside, ride their bike, go to a friend's house, and it really feels like a very nice bubble. My kids are friends with Saul's kids, so I know there's a lot of nice kids around. And yeah, just really loving it here. Close to pretty much everything you need. Yep, Maalot is just 5-minute drive, and we're near my in-laws, so it's all good. Happy to answer questions. Yeah, right.
Thank you so much. And I think last but not least, we have Saul, who I believe is not even in Israel right now. Where is he? Hi, how are you? We can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually calling you from Portugal. So hi, greetings from Portugal.
How's the weather?
So I'm just on vacation, but actually,
Nice.
but I'm already missing Kfar Vradim. So yeah. So just a little bit of background. I'm originally from New Jersey. Been in Israel since 2003 or so, back and forth. Lived in California for a couple of years. But yeah, I made Aliyah basically in 2003. I lived for a number of years in Haifa with my wife, who was also American from New Jersey. We really liked Haifa. It was very nice. We had a very nice community of Olim who had families who had made Aliyah, prior, 20 years prior. And they were really great helping us get acclimated. But then it became time for us our son was entering into first grade. And so we decided we wanted to, actually have a house with, some with a backyard and to not be in the city. And then we started looking around, to, a favorable price point and a place, that and a good place. And we were looking around. The prices get more affordable as you go further north. So we were looking around in Misgab, for instance, and areas there, but it was a bit like Goldilocks, and this place was too small, and Haifa was too big, and then we got to Kfar Vradim, and it was just right. So it's the right size. It has everything you need. 6,000 people is not a lot. They have a small small center. Where they have the super, and they have medical services, as Jordan described, and so it has everything that you really need, and anything, let's say 90% of what you need is in town, including all of the chugim, like the extracurricular activities. My kids are in half a dozen extracurriculars. There's soccer and or football, wherever you're from, and then there's they're also in the conservatorium for music. So each one is playing a different instrument, and there's one's on the basketball team, and then there's actually 2 of them are on the basketball team. My daughter's in a sewing after school activity, and so on and so forth. So there's pretty much everything for the kids. It's really a wonderful place for kids. They can go out, they walk to school. So my kids are also in Keshet as well. And we consider ourselves traditional, and the kids go to Keshet, which has been very good. And I tried to explain to my friend who's from America, and it's not there's not this strict separation of church and state. So there is a lot of Judaism in the school. So they celebrate all the holidays. They have Tanakh. They have the Chumash party. You have got to see this Chumash party that Rabbi Shlomo puts on. It is like a disco. He has a DJ. Literally, he has a Torah scroll that comes down from the ceiling. Somebody has to send a video of it because it's incredible. And that's just like one of the many things that he does with the kids of the Keshet, of the Mamlachti school of the community. And it's really wonderful. And then in addition, my kids also come to to the shul on Fridays and Saturdays, and on Saturdays they have one of the girls, Hannah. She gives she does stuff for the kids, teaches them things, and that's also wonderful. So that kind of also is kind of like Sunday school that I had when I was a kid. So except it's on Saturdays. And what else? So we're really happy with the school system. My oldest son is now in 7th grade, and he's in the junior high, and that's only a 15-minute walk. But the actual elementary school is literally, I could throw them over the wall in my backyard and they're at the school. And so they walk to school, which is amazing. They walk to their after school activities. I kind of joke sometimes that they're like street urchins. Like I just send them out, and then they come back 4 or 5 hours later, maybe a little dirtier, but it's that's a very nice feeling, I think, as a parent, that you can let your kids kind of roam around and go to their friends. And with my son has like a WhatsApp group with Shayna's son, and he'll say, okay, it's time to go play soccer, and they'll all meet with all their friends at the soccer field, and they'll play for hours together, and then they'll, come back hours later, which is, I think, wonderful. I think there was also the other part Jordan wanted me to speak specifically to was about also high tech in the area, I think. Is that correct, Jordan?
Yeah, that's a field I think well. Okay,
so I'll just briefly discuss high tech so basically, I've worked in high tech since 2008 here in Israel. So I've worked for about 15 years doing computer chip design. I worked for a number of years at this company called Marvell Semiconductor, not the comic book company, with 2 L's. And we were making networking chips. And now I work for the last 10 years. I worked for this company called Qualcomm. They make the computer chips for modems and the CPUs that go into pretty much all smartphones, all Android smartphones. And the modems go in the Apple chips and whatnot. We just completed we've completed a lot of big projects in our office for the company. So as far as employment, there's plenty of employment if you're working in high-tech software, computer chip design. If you mainly, you're limited, I would say if you need to work 5 days a week in the office, then you're really kind of limited, in my opinion, to Haifa and Yokneam, which are 2 main high-tech centers. So Haifa has a huge area called Matam. That's like right by the sea. It's right off of the train station, Hofa Carmel train station, which is very convenient. So you can go from either Naharia or you can go from the Carmel station if you don't want to necessarily drive there. And so there's Intel, there's Qualcomm, there's Amazon, there's Apple, there's Microsoft, all that's in Matam, and plus a whole bunch of others I haven't mentioned. And then in Yokneam, for instance, there's a lot of biotech. So if you're into biotech, there's a lot of that. There's Rewalk, there's a whole bunch of companies like that. There's also, as I said, Marvell, and there's also, it used to be Mellanox, but now it's NVIDIA. So there's a ton of employment opportunity for those people who are
we lost you.
who are working for take an hour and 15 minutes each way if you're commuting. Generally speaking, it says if there's no traffic, it'll take you 50 minutes to get to Haifa, but it's rarely the case. So you should probably plan if you're trying to commute to work, it's about an hour and 15. So that's kind of if you're going in 5 days a week, it's a little bit difficult. In the beginning, it was when I first moved there, that's what it was 5 days a week. And that was very difficult, but it was worth it. Like I always told my wife, like it was definitely worth it to be living in Kfar Vradim, to be able to live in Kfar Vradim and give the kids the life that we wanted like that. It was worth it to make that, commute. And then, I guess one of the quote unquote silver linings of the coronavirus is they actually allowed remote work. And so then it became 3 days a week going to the office, which made it a lot easier. And then I know people just, there's some people who don't even go into work at all anymore. So they just work from, and then Kfar Vradim is an amazing option. And then, there are some people even who work in Tel Aviv, and, you can also set up deals with companies, where you just go in once a week. And so that's definitely doable in my opinion. Go once a week to Tel Aviv if you need to, because again, you have the train. So you go into Carmiel or you go into Nahariya, that's 20 minutes by car, or and then you just park and then you just take the train in, which is very comfortable. So and it's always on time. Takes maybe it takes an hour and a half, but you're just sitting there, you can get work done. So it's actually not bad at all. So if you're working in the high tech area, I highly recommend Kfar Vradim. It'll definitely it's definitely worth it for a number of reasons, including the fact you can get a nice house, a nice price point with a great community, and have green, and you can let your kids wander around, and just and it's a great life that you can provide for your children.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Sol, for taking some time off your precious vacation to talk to us. So really appreciate it. Yeah,
if I could just throw in with Saul's awesome description of employment opportunities, about 10 minutes away by car is a company called Iskar, or the Israelis call it Yishkar. It's one of the largest companies in Israel and one of the largest companies in the world. It employs 12,500 people around the world, and wow. 2,500 of them work just 10 minutes away in a town called Tefen. If you work in secretarial or you're a chef, you can get a job in their catering department. They have 11 cafeterias, to give you an idea of the size and scope of this company. Or you work in engineering or electrical or mechanical work, there's a good chance that you might be able to get a job at Iskar. So just 10 minutes away, if you're not in the high-tech field, there are employment opportunities locally at Tefen, in Tefen.
That's amazing. Where is that? You mentioned earlier about local supermarkets. Is it like a little Maalot, or is it an actual, like a Rami Levi, for example? What kind of food stores are there?
We have a local Super Sol, and literally a 5-minute walk from my house, from most of our houses. And then, further away in Maalot, you have all the big supermarkets. And then if you really want to go crazy, you go maybe 20, 25 minutes, you can get in Nahariya, Carmiel, all the things that you want that aren't 5 minutes away or a 5-minute walk away. But I don't know, what do you guys think? But I think almost all the shopping that I need to do is usually between walking distance, and if I need to really knock myself out, maybe a 5-minute drive. I don't know, something like this.
I know I had a question
I think
earlier. Sorry.
You can order from Rami Levi also online, by the way. Like that's what we do.
Okay.
So you don't have to get out of here. You don't have to even do the 5 minutes.
Where's somebody asked me about the nearest hospital?
Nahariya.
Nahariya? Okay. And the health providers that are they in Maalot or in Kfar Vradim? There's also like Maccabi, Mochedet, whatever it is in the area. You have that as well?
They're actually local to Kfar Vradim. We have a Mirpa'ah for Maccabi, and I think for Mochedet as well, or Klalit. One of the other two. Klalit. Yeah, Maccabi and Klalit we have here in Kfar Vradim.
So you don't have to go anywhere. You're fully contained, neighborhood basically that has everything there.
Yeah, the local Maccabi office in town is the nicest Maccabi I think I've ever seen. It has a waterfall. So sometimes if my son isn't even sick, I'll just fake a sore throat or something and head down there so we can watch the waterfall.
Yeah, the local Tipat Chalav branch is also here, which is very convenient.
Oh, that's good. That's nice.
And there's also the dentist is there as well. There's also a dentist. Okay. So
I just wanted to tell you all one extra thing that I forgot to say. Kfar Vradim is so dog friendly and so pet friendly. They have a real vibrant dog park community that I'm a part of too. And there's a guy every morning, he walks around and there's like a loop on Sneer where like Saul and I like live near each other. And he walks around and he feeds all the cats, and there's water bowls like installed for pets to drink. In the middle of the road, there's like water fountains installed for pets. Just want to let you know, for people that love dogs, it's a very pet friendly park.
Yeah,
that's great.
I also have the local shepherd uses my backyard for his goats, which is actually something we're not crazy about.
No.
My wife says we like it, but I don't know that we do. But it's pretty cool to see the goats walking through your backyard sometimes. It's surreal.
As long as they're not eating up all your plants.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Judy has a question. Hi.
Yeah, I've got a couple questions. The first is, what's the demographic makeup of KV, like age-wise?
Well, Saul, you've been here one of the longest. I'll take a crack at it and then you'll tell me where I'm probably wrong. But Kfar Vradim started out, 35 years ago, whatever it was, mostly engineers who worked at ISCAR. So now these people are in their, 60s, 70s, and even 80s. And the reason why there's abundant housing, which is a super rarity in Israel, is because as they're aging and deciding that they don't want to live 2,200 feet in the air, they're turning over their homes. So I don't know the age demographic, but there's a large portion of people that are aging, and generally they're selling to people who are much younger than them, who are up for a mountain type of lifestyle. So I don't know. Can you guys add to that at all? People who have been here longer? I've only been here, 7 months.
I mean, that's my impression, but I think Rav Shlomo probably has he's been the longest. He can probably speak to that a little better.
I'm not really sure number-wise or percentage-wise, but there is a big group of like the elders, the ones that are in the 70s, 80s, the founders of Kfar Vradim. I'll probably say a third are like elders. Let's say 30% are about, over 65, 70. Probably a third. In other words, you don't really have like real young couples here, like, like in the early 20s. But you'll find probably a third are like what we call, the younger ones are usually going to be the early 30s, probably a third that way. Am I right? So, and then and then we're going to have another third, what we call like mid-age, like 40, 50, 60, and then probably another third that are the elders. I think that's probably going to be the right percentage.
I think that's right. It's also because most people in their 20s can't afford the houses here,
Right.
so it's usually like people are in their early 30s. When they've made enough for a down payment, that's when they come in.
It's also the ones in the early 20s, like building up their career and trying to figure out like
Right.
where they're holding. But I'll probably say a third. In other words, a very active elder community. A lot of like they have like 2 different clubs for like people, on what are they, 70 plus
50
or 80
plus.
plus. It used to be called 50 plus, but so what does it put us these days? And yeah, it used to be called the 50 plus club, which was like for the elder people. Today I would say it's 70 plus or 80 plus. So it's probably I would say probably a third belong to that age group, and then I'm probably right, probably a third, and a third.
And then in terms of percentage of English speakers, of the 6,000 people?
No, so I would say native. Listen, native Anglos, like English speakers. I don't know in percentage. Probably a few dozen families. But everybody, I would say a very
few dozen
high
families that speak English?
No, Anglos. I'm saying
Everyone
that
speaks
come from
English.
English-speaking countries.
Okay.
Everybody speaks English. The majority of the community
Right.
speaks English.
Right.
No, but it's usually most of the people who are well educated. So generally speaking, everyone speaks English. But in terms of
Right.
native speakers, it's only like a couple dozen families.
Got it.
And there are like
Thank
a good
you.
number in the more of the elderly population, because
English.
when they first founded the community, there were a lot of Americans that came. And then there were, so within the elderly community, you'll find a good number of people who are native speakers.
Great.
Yeah, but even
is it gated? Like I couldn't,
No.
I'm like trying to it's not gated, but there
no,
is.
by principle, because everybody's like very into nature, like blending into
Great.
the nature. So it's not, and it's also very, very safe. I mean, Kfar Vradim in general, the Galil is very safe. There's a very very, I would say, honorable and respectful relationship between the Jewish, Israeli community and the Arabs around. And it's it's been it's been tested in quite a few events, and our area, thank God, was always very calm and very welcoming and very, very honorable and respectful. I could just tell you, just as an interesting gimmick, but let's say on Yom Kippur, usually the roads are closed because they want to honor Yom Kippur, and second of all, let the kids ride their bicycles without being in danger. And there's one road that's really, it doesn't really belong to Kfar Vradim. It crosses Kfar Vradim, but it's like it goes between two Arab villages. One Tarshicha, it's like more Christian Muslim, and the other one called Yanuch, which is Druze. And we were having an issue because on Yom Kippur we felt that the kids are in danger. They're riding their bikes and there's cars going around. And I made a meeting with the Sheikh of Tarshicha and the Sheikh of Yanuch, and we had a meeting, and I explained to them why it's important for us. And they said, no problem, you have nothing to worry about. And I can tell you for a fact that this year, Yom Kippur, 90%. There was still a few cars driving through, but they made official announcements in the big loudspeakers of Yanuch and the big loudspeakers of Tarshicha. And, out of like respect and honor, people just didn't drive through. That's the way that things are done. That's the way things are dealt with here. And we really hope and pray and wish that it should stay that way. But that's a fact. We do business with them, with the nearby Arab towns. We visit each other, we speak to each other. In fact, I serve in the army I'm still in reserve, and a lot of the Druze neighbors that in the nearby towns, we serve in the same units. So that's the name of the game in this part of the country.
I just want to add to what Rav is saying. Before we get to the real estate portion of pricing and all this kind of stuff, is just to say that that the town is ringed by extremely tolerant people who are like-minded, even those that aren't the same religion. It's a really unique relationship in any part of anywhere in Israel, and it's just really special to see that.
Amazing. So I like to keep the call like at an hour and 10 the most, because I know everybody's so busy. So Devorah, hey Deb. Just gonna unmute yourself.
Hi.
So I just wanted you to say hello to everybody, and then we put together a very short presentation on some houses for sale in the area, but I have to just say to you, there is much more available. One of our local real estate agents that we partner with in Kfar Vradim was unable to come on the call, so we were just given some information, and if you are interested in real estate, we will hook you up with the right people. I also have to say, Yad Shtaim, all these places are great. However, you need to know, just from being a broker, that sometimes these listings are not current listings, and basically the brokers don't always update their websites. So it's better just to work with a local person who you trust. And all the agents pull really from the same pot. So if you are interested in real estate, I will hook you up with a person who I trust and work with in the area. So Deb, you can take it away.
Sure. First, can you just share the share it with me? Okay. Hey everyone, Devorah Ben Arosh. I actually live in Ramat Beit Shemesh, and but I have people calling me all the time, like, we're looking for that like cool community where you can like get a house with some land or have a backyard and live amongst, I don't know, I want to say cool-minded people, people a little bit outside the box, not, Anglos and Israelis. And it sounds like from what I'm hearing tonight that you guys have that kind of vibe of a bit more eclectic community that's, open to all kinds of people from different backgrounds, different levels of their Judaism, and living together in a healthy, cohesive way. So I'm so excited to hear about it. I actually also want to come myself and meet everybody, because definitely a lot of people are looking for what you guys have. So you're very blessed to have found it. Okay, so without further ado, I am going to share my screen. Hang on.
We're only going to be giving about 4 different opportunities of some of the houses here. And didn't even get to renting, which we can talk about afterwards.
Okay. hang on a second. This.
Yeah, while she's pulling that up, while Devorah's, oh, never mind.
Okay. Do you see Kfar my canvas screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm just seeing on it says Madlan on here.
No, it should say Canva. Hold on.
I know it's very English, but no one's actually ever talked about the weather. What's it like there?
Hey, Sharon.
The weather's stunning.
It's one of the few places in Israel where you actually get 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And
There's
as someone
actually fall
Yes.
with actual leaves on the ground. And I was shocked. And it's beautiful. I don't know. Today was gorgeous. I walked outside, I took a hike just
But
for lunch.
is it more mild than like say Minnesota?
It's more mild.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's ridiculously like it's too perfect. I'm like really like if it's windy and rainy, it's windy and rainy, and it's like very intense and beautiful. But other than that, when it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. There we go. That's it. That's all. But I mean, the weather is really stunning.
Yeah, just to add to that, like tonight is going to be one of the coldest nights of the year, or maybe last night got down to 34, maybe 33 Fahrenheit. And most, it gets here into the 80s in like as late as maybe July. August, sometimes we touch the low 90s, but it's mountain weather. So it's not that dry like Jerusalem. It's more humid than that. But the weather is absolutely beautiful. If you like cold nights and you like incredibly warm, sunny days, this is the place.
Amazing. Okay, so hang on. It's just giving a map, kind of giving you a location of where Kfar Vradim is. And this is just some pictures I swiped off the web just to give a flavor of community and the feeling. And some people have pools and beautiful backyards and lovely interior. Okay, so here's one of the properties that we found. This is a 5-bedroom. It also has a separate unit, like a rental unit, or it could be a guest suite. And it's also, everything has great views and it's in nature. And this one is 3.285.
That house is on Sneer Street, about 7 minutes walking from Shul. And it is a beautiful home. I've seen it before.
Okay, amazing. Okay, this next one looks very, very pretty, and it has this beautiful high ceiling inside, and it's a 300 square meter home with a very large outdoor space, 683 square meters, and upgraded kitchens, and it's got parking spots, and it's got 2 patios outdoors. And you can see it's got like indoor, outdoor, there's sliding glass doors over there, and looks very nice as well. And this one, they're asking 3.45 million shekels. Okay, and here's a 5.5 bedroom. And also it's been renovated recently, large space, upgraded, lots of sunshine in this home. And I don't know how far it is from the shul, but
that house is actually in Shlav Bet. So that's we didn't talk about that because mostly what the Rav recommended to me that I find a house in Shlav Aleph. Me and Saul and Toby and Tammy, we're all in Shlav Aleph. There are people who go to the shul in Shlav Bet, but it's a little bit more of a hike. It's
okay.
maybe more like, Rob, would you say Shlav Bet is more like a 15-minute walk? And it's up a hill.
Well, depends which part of Shlav Bet. But the shul in Shlav Bet is probably a good 20, 25-minute walk. And as we're saying, downhill or uphill depends what direction you're going. Yeah, but I would recommend if somebody, wants to, raise a family with kids and be like around the center, Shlav Aleph would probably be more
better.
To go
Yes.
to.
The thing
Okay.
about Shlav Aleph also is that it really all the major amenities are there. So meaning that the tennis courts, the basketball courts, the tennis, like I said, the country club. So if you like to work out, the pool, all those things are in Shlav Aleph. So it's nice that you can just get out of bed and walk 2 minutes and get to all those things. And also the Merkaz Meschaרי is also there. So all the major amenities are there. There's some stuff in Shlav Bet, but almost all of it is kind of centered in Shlav Aleph.
So the focus is to be in Shlav Aleph. Okay.
In my
Okay.
opinion, yes.
And as we can see, all these residences pretty much have really nice outdoor space as well. As everyone said, it's super green there, and you can get a lot of house and a lot of living for a very reasonable price in Israel standard. Because like 3.485 in my neighborhood can get you maybe a 3 to 4 bedroom. We're not getting that kind of outdoor garden space at all. So you get so much value in your neighborhood that it's really worthwhile to we're gonna rent a bus, bring everyone up there.
Okay, I don't know if we know about, maybe Jordan can add in here, or rental prices.
Sure. So I would say, there's a young couple who just came up from Neve Daniel. What have they been here? 2 months? Something like that. 2 months, 3 months. They just had us over for dinner on Friday night. They were on the call a little earlier. It's past their bedtime because they have a little kid at home. But they rented, generally you can get a 3 or 4 room, which in Israel means 3 bedrooms, for about 3,500 shekels a month. You can rent a whole house, which there was a family from Portland who was looking to rent 2 doors down from us. That was a stone cottage with a view of the entire valley, half the Galil practically. And that was 6,500 shekels for a 3 to 4 bedroom house with 3 levels and vaulted ceilings. So the rental market is, compared to what you could get in the Merkaz, is ridiculously good. And as Saul said at the top, the further north you go, the more reasonable the rental prices.
I think that's generally what's happening in the real estate market now. People are always saying, where should we, where can we get more bang for our buck? And it's either up north or down south. But up north is so much more prettier, I personally think. So these prices, these are 4 big houses. In Jerusalem, just to give you I took up people today, and you're looking at half the size of these properties, half the size, for between 9 to 12 million shekels.
Wow.
That's in Yerushalayim. So
I just wanted to mention that one of the heads of Nefesh B'Nefesh is coming on March 12th to Kfar Vradim, if anybody wants to be up here around that time. And he's meeting with the mayor of the town. And Rav could tell you that he's very supportive of the idea of Olim coming here. And of course, the mayor and the administration up here is willing to help any Oleh who comes up here with getting acclimated, as well as the rest of the community. So I think it's a very positive, welcoming community for Olim specifically.
Jordan,
amazing.
The mayor is such a nice guy, and he's so down to earth. He comes to all of the events. He says hi to everybody. I think he knows plenty people's names. He's just like a really nice guy. We're currently renting because we still own our home in Florida, and we have a giant house. Like, I'm not joking. It's a gorgeous, huge house with like huge balconies, and it's like in the 5,000-ish shekel range. It's amazing.
That's amazing. That is
And
amazing.
it's Rafi Eitan's house.
Yeah.
It seems like you need a car there, like to be able to feel like you can get around, right?
Yeah, yes and no.
We don't have a
we
car.
don't have a car. Neither of us drive. We don't have a car. Everything's accessible by bus. The one thing you miss out on is maybe like, day trips in the area,
We want to
which,
get
which
one
is hard to
for that.
do. Which is hard to do without a car.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, just daily living, everything's. I work in Tel Aviv twice a week. We don't have a car, and we don't feel like we need it.
Okay.
You can borrow my car. I don't use it most days. If you want to go on a
You
date.
need to get a license.
My whole life.
I had a license, but it's from the States and it was no good by the time I got back. So it was a whole thing.
I'm sure the driving there is a lot less, much more tame than driving in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. So
Oh, for sure.
In
Sure.
in Kfar Vradim, it's already purchased. It's already happening. In Kfar Vradim, there's going to be an electric bus
Wow.
going around for in Kfar Vradim transportation. Hop on, hop
Nice.
off, electric.
Very
that's
cool.
fantastic. That's amazing. Anyway, I cannot thank you guys enough. I've been talking to Jordan now for the last, I think we've decided in like November, we should be doing a call because a lot of people had reached out to me about what I thought about the community. And even though we didn't have so many people on the call tonight, there were a lot of people who signed up that obviously could not make it. And I so appreciate everybody's time. And I think that you guys are in an incredible place. And I'm so grateful for you coming on. Jordan, thank you again for organizing it. And we will be sending, if it's okay, if you're okay, please let me know if I can refer your numbers to people. I think there will be more questions, especially about education. And I know that people will probably want to come down. Actually, there's a great family I'm thinking of now. Deb, I'll talk to you afterwards, who I think this community would be absolutely ideal for.
Yeah, I have somebody
So,
too.
yeah, I'm just thinking how special it is. And if anybody comes down to Yerushalayim and is in the old city, you're more than welcome to knock on my door and come in for a cup of coffee, or I always joke for the toilet, the bathroom break. But thank you so much for joining us. And it should just be a Shavua Tov and a blessed week and a safe week. And again, anybody who's interested in Aliyah, investment, whatever it may be, we really are experts in the field, and we look forward we really believe that a house is just a house, but when you find your community, that's when you find your home.